The Queen's Talk, where we honor and celebrate women on their self-love journey, where we share our stories about how we overcame past trauma and where we are now. Welcome to the Queen's Talk, Queens. Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Queen's Talk. I am Leslie from Brown Girls Embrace. Can you hear me okay?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so I am Leslie from Brown Girls Embrace, and tonight we have Shakira with us, the self-love coach and the self-love cycle coach. So here in the Queen's Talk, we talk to women who've overcame past trauma and where we are now and how we overcome and why we like helping other people and just try to spread some positive light on other females to overcome. And tonight we're going to break the cycle with Shakira tonight. So how are you?
I'm perfectly fine. How are you?
I'm good. Not too bad at all. Today wasn't the weather wasn't bad here today in Maryland. Like the weather was like chill, kind of breezy but nice. Sun was out, sunny.
I understand. I'm originally from Pennsylvania, but I am here in sunny Florida and I am enjoying the weather every single day. It's beautiful.
Nice. So let's jump into this conversation. We're gonna break the cycle into the love cycle. So I know people already said your name, but go ahead and tell people again your name and where
Hello.
you're.
I am Shakira Butler. I go by Coach Self, and I am a personal development life coach. I'm the founder of the founder and CEO of the Self Love Cycle, which is a personal development coaching business where I coach women one on one as well as group coaching. I also have workshops in my community. I have a mentorship program for young women, and I am branching into motivational speaking. Um, all these things under the umbrella of just life coaching, and it all started out very quickly for me. So I'm just excited to be here, to be interviewed by another amazing Black woman in the self-care space. And let's get started.
Yes. Okay. So can you take us back to um your cycle? Like what kind of cycle was you in? Like how was growing up for you? Like how were you raised and grew up to make you be where you are today?
Oh, I was just talking to my kids about this today. When I was younger, my mother got married and her husband worked at the same place, and they worked a lot. They worked at the post office, and I think they did swing shift at first. So they were always working. My stepfather had 3 kids, and then my mom had me and my sister, and he had a girl and 2 boys. So the 2 oldest girls stuck together, the 2 young, boys stuck together, and it just kind of left me to myself because nobody wanted to hang with the little sister. So I spent a lot of time by myself. I would just go and explore and make friends in the community, visit my grandma, just go out and be a social butterfly. So that was my start of being and becoming self, if that is a way to put it. I got to know the things that I liked and did not like really quickly. And then um, the atmosphere was one that was a little rough. So I learned, street smarts very quickly as well.
Nice, nice, nice. So I didn't realize. So you were the middle child?
I was the middle child, yes.
Oh wow. So I'm an only child. So they say that those middle child, like you kind of feel like you don't know
Left
where
out.
yeah, you don't know where you belong. Like the oldest in a sense
Exactly.
because you got to be the high achiever. Then the youngest is the baby. So wow, I didn't know that. Okay, so
In
that makes sense.
between. Yeah, it's I believe like in that family dynamic, because in my dad's side of the family, I'm the middle child as well. But in that family dynamic, I was treated as the baby. Even though my youngest brother, he was like 3 months younger than me.
Oh, okay.
Everybody kind of just treated me like the baby. So
Right. Got
I'm
you.
used to the baby type treatment anyway.
Got you. Got you. Got you. Got you. I'm an only child, so I've always gotten treated like the only child. But I feel like I had a lot of structure and a lot. I had for me it was a lot more pressure on me because I was the only one, so it was high
Right.
expectations to do good at everything.
Yeah, you had to do that.
Yeah. And I know we talked earlier, talked how like you want to break the cycle. So talk about how what happened in your past that you want to change now as a parent yourself, because I know that you are a parent.
Yes.
So how did those things that you were raised at? Because I know we talked about um, your relationship between you and your mom and your parents. How was that? The Queens Talk. Well, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Well, my mom worked a lot, so as I stated earlier, it's kind of up to me to kind of um, figure out ways to keep myself entertained. And I grew up in a smaller city outside of Philadelphia, and there was not much to do there. I always felt that it was a big problem that we didn't have a lot of like after school programs. And
Oh wow.
we one of my biggest pet peeves is that we didn't have like a boys and girls program here in my city. We
Oh
didn't even have no one nowhere close. So I
wow.
always hated the fact that they were all in all the stores around us asking for donations, but they wouldn't come and they wouldn't participate and be in our city. So as I grew up, there wasn't much for us to do besides getting in trouble or, doing
Mhm.
things we weren't supposed to be doing. I seen all my friends going to like placements and going to jail, getting locked up for doing different things,
Oh
getting
wow.
pregnant. And then that was my reality as well as I got pregnant when I was 17 in high school. It kind of hit me like a whirlwind. Like, I was being grown and doing things that grown people do, but I had just decided, like, you know what, this guy that I'm dating is not the guy that I want in my life. I want better influences, better people around me. I don't really want to hang with the same type of friends. I just want better for myself. So I decided break up with them and start finding better people to put into my life. And I found out I was pregnant like 2 weeks later.
Oh wow. Wow.
Oh my
Wow.
gosh, it was like devastating. And it was a complete life change for me. I wasn't ready to have a kid. I didn't want to have a kid at that age. I never seen myself being a parent, especially not that young. And like a whirlwind, it's like, you're having this kid, you have to do it. My parents are very religious. It was no abortions. It was a task that was like, you're going to do this. You're going to woman up. If you're grown enough to do grown things, you're grown enough to take care of this child as well. So that's what I did. I kind of womaned up and figured it out along the way. It was very tough. I had to leave my child like almost immediately to go back to
Mhm.
school and finish because I got pregnant and had her in like November, and I just had one more semester to get all my grades and things checked off and right before I could graduate. So right back to school, I had to put her in daycare. And then after school, I had to go to work to make money to take care of my child. So she went to daycare after that. I just really didn't have the time to spend and bond with my baby like, motherhood should be. And that took a toll on me because I raised my kids in more of like a duty of this is what I have to do instead of I love to be a parent. I love to care for my kids. I'm like, listen, y'all better act right when y'all go to daycare because I do not have time for y'all to be acting crazy. I got to go to work. You know what I mean? So I grew up with that mindset. And I believe now that I'm older, my mom had that same mindset. Survival is going to work, making the money, taking care of your kids. And as long as you're making that money to take care of your kids, everything else will fall in line. And that's kind of, I grew up with that mindset as well. Like work, take care of the kids. And as long as they have what they need, they shouldn't need to complain. But things were falling out along the way because the staples that they needed, especially as me being a single parent, putting in the love, the attention, doing homework with them and all that, that wasn't there because I was just worried about working, making money, and trying to enjoy a little bit of my life when I had my free time, but still being a parent 100% of the time.
Wow. Okay, that's deep. So I want to talk about you being the middle child. Did that affect you? Did that have an effect while you started getting into boys young and started having sex study? You know, a lot of people have sex when they're teenagers, but did that have an effect because you felt like you was ignored and you finally found somebody? Hey, like he sees me, he loves me. Let me go ahead and do this.
For me, it wasn't really those feelings. I've always been very curious. So for
Oh,
me, it was kind of like, hey, let me see what this is about. And then once I was like, this isn't really for me. And then it's like this person isn't for me. And then I found out I was pregnant. So
oh wow. Okay, okay. Okay, wow. So he in the child's life at all? Like after the pregnancy, like during the
oh
pregnancy?
yeah, of course. I have two different daughters' fathers, and both of them are active in my kids' life.
Well, that's great.
Um, we just didn't get along too well because when I decided this wasn't the type of person I didn't want to be around, I didn't want him in my life at all. You know, I wanted him to play a role to his child, but I didn't want him to be a part of my life in any way. And I made it very hard for him at first. We butted heads a lot, and I'm proud to say that I got my first Mother's Day text from him this year, and he was like,
Oh wow. The Queen's Talk, where we honor and celebrate women on their self-love journey. Oh, I keep going. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
it's all right. It was more of a like, you know, I know things were very rocky in the beginning, but our daughter, you've raised an amazing daughter, and well,
Oh,
we've raised an amazing daughter, and it's mostly thanks to you. And that was so touching. Like, I never expect anything like that because we butted heads so much. It was never like a, oh, I'm so happy that you're my daughter's mom. It was just like, as long as she's taken care of, I'm not even going to say anything else to you. You know what I mean? So that was rough. That was rough. So I had one that was kind of like, you know, didn't want to deal with me because I made things hard for him. And I had another one who was in both my kids' life physically for years on end before we moved down here. He was extremely hands-on, like, you know, always there, you know, there to do homework, there to talk and, you know, just do the sensitive parts to where I hadn't been because I was extremely hard from, you know, just years of struggle, years of, you know, things not going the right way,
yeah.
years of being single.
Was it angry? It was anger that was causing you to kind of like not allow him to make things easy for him.
It was definitely anger, a little resentment. It was just I didn't like him as a person. And I
Wow.
didn't know that because the way that we had started wasn't quite conventional. And I don't really want to get into that, but
Right.
it just the person that I thought he was not the person that he was. And when I was ready to go, I was ready to go. And I didn't know, I
Right.
don't want to see his face no more. I didn't want to be around him. And then I had to face the fact that I had to deal with him. I had to be around him. I
Oh
had to
wow.
work with him. And that was a hard pill to swallow. That
Wow.
it was one that it took me a very long time to come to grips with. I was a lot of the issue of between both of us. Now, granted, I can't say that it was all me because he was not perfect and he was not a perfect father at first, but he's definitely grown into his role as a father and plays a good role in fatherhood. So I can't discount him at all. You know, I know that I made it hard. He also made it hard. We both had a hand in making things very, very hard for each other.
Mm-hmm.
And now we're at a place where it's like, you know what, if I need something and I hit them up, and it's just simply like, okay, I'm sending it, or I'm make sure it's taken care of immediately. Like there's we don't even really need to have a bunch of conversation, but it's no fight, it's no drawback or anything, which I really appreciate now.
Yeah, that takes maturity, growth,
Yeah.
maturity. Like you guys were young then, so you know
Hmm.
we grow over the years, and we're not the same person we was when we were younger. But I think that it is whoever joined the chat. Thanks for joining. I see one person in the room. You can comment in the chat if you like. But it takes a lot of courage to Let me see. She said something. It takes a lot of courage to say I was wrong
Hmm.
and that shouldn't happen. But I think too is that why people should start their self-love journey and break this cycle is because we do things like this. We hurt other people around us because we're hurt.
Oh,
And if you
absolutely.
don't change the cycle, like, okay, you know, it's gonna you like you said, you saw your mom do it, and then
Hmm.
you do it, and now you have a child or whatever, and now people around you are miserable because you're miserable, you're unhappy. And
It's
it's
a
just like,
cycle.
yeah, it's a cycle.
It
So
affects everything and everyone around you.
yeah. So when did you want to break the cycle of, being unhappy, I guess?
Ooh, I wanted to change that cycle over and over and over again, but I never really had the
Hey, Clarissa.
tools. Hi, Clarissa. Um, Carissa, I'm sorry. I never really had the tools to do that. I didn't quite mention, and I try not to say it too often because someone mentioned this to me as it being a problem, but I recently have been single for about 13 years. So 14 years, as old as my youngest daughter is, that's the last time I've been in a serious relationship. And I've been saying that, and someone's like, you say that like a badge of honor. And I was saying it as a badge of honor, like, you know what, I'm strong. I'm a strong woman. I can
Right.
carry this on my own. I've been doing this. But all the time that I've been single, I didn't want to do it on my own. I just did it out of this is what I have to do. I don't have someone else to support me. I don't have someone else to pay the bills. I don't have someone else to take care of my kids. I have to do these things. So it was more of a lifestyle change. Like it
That's
was
out.
me doing what I had to do and not realizing that me doing what I had to do was causing me a lot of anger, a lot of frustration, a lot of resentment because I see everybody else living life and doing what they want to do. And I'm out here just working a job 9 to 5 and stressing because I can't make the ends meet and I got to take care of these kids and I don't get to have fun. I had a lot of resentment, a lot of like harbored feelings inside. And I just didn't know how to break that cycle.
Yeah.
But the pandemic taught me a lot.
The pandemic has taught. I always say that the pandemic was like a blessing in disguise because
Yes.
I found my happiness. Like I found
Mhm.
what irritates me. I found what makes me mad. What has me sad. What bring me joy. Like I found my tribe. My vibe is my tribe. I found my tribe. I found people who
Absolutely.
want to start this love journey with me. Like
Yes.
yeah. So tell me about your journey. Like my journey. Like I always say, my grandfather passed away from COVID,
Mhm.
and then we had a close family friend that passed away from COVID.
Oh, my
But it,
condolences.
yeah, but it was this like, I hope I'm like, I know Satan is always listening, but it's just like, I feel like I'm much more happier because
Mm,
I had time to reflect and analyze myself, self
right.
discovery, you know? So tell me,
Absolutely. That's
yeah.
exactly the same feelings that I had. Now, the pandemic for me, since I had been alone for so long and I could like go out on a date or I could go out and hang out with my friends whenever I wanted to, when I was just caged in the house by myself with my kids.
Right.
It allowed me to confront a lot of things that I had been neglecting within myself, within
Mm-hmm.
being a parent, within the dating world, within like everything. Just my happiness was connected to so many other things besides myself.
Mm-hmm.
And not being able to create that while I was going through this tough time, it was so draining. It was so hurtful. It was so frustrating. And my career was working with mentally disabled adults and teaching them life skills as well as teaching them how to get jobs and maintain them. So, teaching life skills and things have always been in me. But when I tried to teach myself some
Oh,
things,
wow.
it didn't work. It didn't work. So when I had gone through like deep depression and things through the pandemic, I
Okay.
started journaling. I started writing down my process and I started writing down the things that worked and what didn't work. I started researching everything and like, all right, let's try this today. Let's meditate today. Let's do yoga. Let's try journaling. Let's try taking a spiritual bath. All these things, collectively started showing me like, oh, I really like doing this. I don't know about meditating too much. It was very loud. The silence was loud, and it taught me to sit in silence and listen to the thoughts that come up. They show you they give you direction of where you need to go, the things that you need to work on, the things that are frustrating you, and not just what's frustrating you, the getting down to the bottom of it. What
Mm-hmm.
really is frustrating you besides this thing that you think is annoying? So writing my processes and finding ways to get out of those things I felt that was keeping me down, which I now know as limiting beliefs, it opened up a whole new world for me. And
Yeah.
that was the beginning of my self-love journey. Now, I had just graduated from college, like right before the pandemic,
Oh,
well, right when
wow.
the pandemic started. And my goal was to start a nonprofit organization for young girls, to start a program and after school and mentor and have
Oh,
everything,
wow.
that I didn't have when I was a kid. I wanted to start these
Yeah.
programs. And then, with the pandemic shutting down, all my help to do my paperwork that I had no clue how to do, like that disappeared. And all my mentors, they disappeared. And I just was like, I'm going to use this work that I put in on myself and transform it into this business. So it transformed from helping young kids and starting after school programs to mentoring women and working with women on discovering their self, how to refine their resilience, how to build confidence, how to rebuild their self after tough situations and relationships, and the things that we go through as women, the loss of friends and friendship, and how you actually have to grieve those things. And grief doesn't just come with death. Like, so many things this pandemic lifestyle taught me, I turned into my business. And now I help women with thriving in singlehood and thriving after breakups and, becoming whole before getting in relationships. I used all those tools. And now I'm here as a business owner and an entrepreneur stating, like, you can be happy and you can be happy and you
Oh,
can
that's
be
beautiful.
happy.
That's beautiful. Yeah.
Those
I
things.
want to address Clarissa's comment. She says, "Yes, I agree. The pandemic really had me reflect on a lot, especially my family and myself." This is my friend Clarissa. She has 4 girls, and she had like 2 babies during the pandemic, 1 or 2. I think 1
Woo!
right before the pandemic and 1 during the pandemic. So I know as a single mom, she was a single mom. I know as a single mom that was hard. Like,
I'm sure it
just
was.
dealing with kids, and during the pandemic, you had a baby, and
Oh
it's
yeah.
just a lot. Like, I know. So I'm happy that she joined tonight, because we're talking about breaking the cycle of of the bad cycle of, toxic behavior, and starting the love cycle with your children. Shakira, she is a self-love coach, and
Yes.
she has 2 kids now. So tell us how you break the cycle with your kids now.
Oh yeah. My kids are me in every sense of the word. I have a 16-year-old and a 14-year-old, and my 16-year-old is like my I'm gonna get it done child, my focus, my determined child, my I'm going to make money type child. My youngest child is 14. She is my creative child, my inquisitive child, my I'm taking everything in this kitchen apart just to see how it works, and I may or may not put it back. You know what I mean? I'm going to make a mess and be creative. I'm going to find out anything and everything I want by exploring. That they are 2 different sides of the coin. So when I handle them, I've learned that I have to handle both of them different. Me just do this is not going to work. It might work with one child, but with the other child, it's not going to work. So I try to not rule with the iron fist the way that my mom did. Even though it was very helpful, it
Yeah.
really helped me stay on the right track. It doesn't necessarily work for my kids, where it was good when they were younger, but now that they're older, and in high school and experiencing different things that I didn't have to deal with when I was younger, like social media, bullying, and all types of things, I have to teach them a lot of self-love, a lot of patience. I have to have a lot of patience with them, and I have to try to connect with them in a way where they will understand and they'll be, reached. So, exercise with us is like, all right, we gonna put on Megan Thee Stallion workout on YouTube, and we gonna do all the dances, and it's workout, but it's fun. We're having fun, we're laughing, we're dancing, we love to dance. That's going to be fun. I'm not going to be the mom like, you're too fresh, you shouldn't be dancing like that. Let's dance and have fun. It's
Right.
all fun. We're not being grown, we're not trying to be fresh, we're just having a good time and exercising. You know what I mean? When it's talking to them, Even though I do lecture them, I do yell at them. When it's really time to get a point across, I don't only just tell them what I want them to do, I try to explain to them
Like you
in
said.
depth. I'm going to break it down to small pieces and I'm going to tell you why I need this done this way. If we leave food in our rooms, it is going to attract ants. And I don't want to live in an ant-filled house. Do you want to live in an ant-filled house? No, I didn't think you want ants in your room. So let's not leave our food in our room. Matter of fact, let's just always eat out here. So that's not even an issue. They receive that a lot better than don't eat in your room. And I'm
Right.
not playing.
Yeah. I want to address Clarissa's comment. She said the pandemic has helped me realize that I have to slow down and make time for myself, self care. So I'm learning
Yes,
to make
ma'am.
time for myself. It's hard, but I'm working on it, on working on really focusing on me. Yeah, that is hard. Like realizing that you have to make time for self care so you can be a better mom or a better
Absolutely.
wife or better to the whole world. Like I realized that like I was very, 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 very unhappy. A lot of
Mm.
things pissed me off
Mm-hmm.
and I could not, but I had to learn I had to do some self discovery and what pissed me off, what made me happy, what makes me sad. Am I making time for myself to make myself feel good? Because I'm single, I ain't got nobody to make me feel good. But am I doing the little things that I can do for myself to make me feel good and make time for self care? And I like what we talked about earlier. You said that your mom was kind of direct, like, or you was kind of direct, like, don't be doing this because I gotta pay bills and I don't have time to take off work. But now you explain to them like, hey, if you cut off, that means that I don't get paid today, or that means that we might be short this month, or getting you blah 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 blah. So it's kind of different when you break the cycle, like when you growing up as a child, how you was, and as a
Absolutely.
mom today, how you was, because we have to break it some way somehow. We can't keep repeating the same. We have to learn from our past mistakes and do better.
Right, right. And that's exactly what I wanted. I always wanted girls. I didn't want any
Oh
boys.
wow,
I wanted girls because I'm a girl. I know how I
Clarissa,
want it.
she has 4 girls.
That's a lot of girls.
Uh,
That's a lot of girls, a lot of time in the bathroom. That's a lot of, different personalities. That's a lot. And I applaud you because your patience level has to be very high. My patience level is very high when it comes to it. I don't quite flip out the way that I used to, but self-care has taught me a lot. And I have to teach my kids the same thing too. Like, all right, if you don't like the way I'm talking to you, you have to say something. Like, don't be talking to me like that, because then you might get Shakira from the streets. But say, Mom, I really don't like when you say this or that, or I don't like when you talk to me in this way. And that has helped my kids better communicate with me.
yeah, that's a good
Um,
thing. A lot of parents didn't teach us communications growing up. They
right.
taught us it's like you're being disrespectful, or just like don't say nothing.
Yes, I have to underline what I see as disrespect. I told my daughter today, when you respond to me in this manner right here, circle text message that you sent me earlier, this makes me feel like you're being disrespectful. And she had to explain, like, I'm not being disrespectful. I just wanted to let you know that I don't like when you assume things. And I will.
Right.
I know you left your clothes on the floor. Oh, I didn't leave them. They actually dropped when I walked past, but I'll get them when I come home. You know what I mean? So like small changes like that has helped us better communicate and stopped a lot of the attitudes amongst all of us in the household, because us girls, we get attitudes for the smallest thing, the wind blow in our direction. It's like, oh, here
Right.
we go again.
So this is the last question I want to ask before we wrap it all up. Um, as a mentor, as a mentee, how are you helping breaking the cycle? Are you teaching your other mentees to break the cycle, and as a social worker and everything like that? And I'm about to go live on Instagram too.
Okay. Yes, with my mentees, I teach them how to set goals and work towards them. I teach them about, attitude adjustment and how you have to go into things with the right mindset. You can't just have I'm coming out of high school, Generation Z attitude where everybody has to give you what you want. You have to change your mindset as to, I'm going to work hard for it. And people are going to see that my work ethic matches the things that I want. I teach them to be studious and to know how to switch it up. You can be, fun and have fun in the streets, but also be professional as well when it's time to. I feel like I master that very well. I go outside all the time. I have a good time, but then when it's time to be professional, I ring it right back in, and I'm like, hey, how are you? It's time to be coach self again. And that was the last thing I talked about on my podcast, duality, teaching people that duality is perfectly fine. You can be as hood as you want to, as long as you have that professional side, it can pull it out when you need to. It's good. It's good. So I like to teach my kids that you don't have to change who you are just to fit into the corporate world or to fit into someone else's world. You can be exactly who you are and make some slight changes, and everything will just flow the way that it needs to. You don't have to be a totally different person.
Clarissa says, my patience is okay, but can be better. LOL. I have 4 girls with different personalities, especially my older one.
Yeah.
Ooh,
12, 11, 3, and 1. Ooh, that is a spread. Well, with the oldest 2, you have to definitely start training and teaching them how to help you out with the youngest 2. Yeah, I feel during the pandemic, I taught my kids how to cook, and they can burn now. Like when I'm running late or I can't, I'm exhausted and I can't make dinner, they will do it. They'll start it or they'll do it completely. They'll call me, hey, mom, I made this. Or if they're, unsure of how to do it, they ask me for instructions. And as long as I give them the basic, they can run with it. That's part of, self-care. Number one, you have to make your team available to help you in the things that you need to. We as moms think we have to take on everything. We have to do the cooking, the cleaning. We have to raise the children and make them clean their room. We have to go out and make the money. As long as you train your children to offset some of the things that you need to do, there's going to be chores. I'm not going to clean this whole house by myself. You're going to do some chores in order to help all of us live in a clean environment. Right. You know what I mean? You're going to learn how to make yourself a meal. So after I work 8 to 12 hours and I am exhausted, I don't have to come in here and stand over the stove. You know what I mean? Taking those small moments of bonding and teaching them how to cook has turned into a lifestyle of them knowing how to fend for themselves. So in the case when I'm so busy and I'm not able to do certain things, they can do these tasks on their own. They can help me out with my tasks. If I'm getting ready for the podcast, I'm like, hey, pick me out something to wear, right. Pick me out a hairstyle, make sure that my background is set up. They can do these things because I have low-key trained them little by little. All right, this is how you set up my mic. This is how you set up the space. You make sure that it looks nice and clean. I've trained my kids to help me with every little task. So when it comes to it, I don't need them to do everything, but if I need help, they're able to take on that task.
I'm sorry to cut you off. How did you help your because you're a mentor now, right?
Yes.
Mentor kids now because you work in foster care, right?
I do. I work in foster care.
So how do you mentor those kids and to break in the cycle? Because when you work in foster care, a lot of those kids are pretty angry.
Mm-hmm. So, a lot of them are angry. And for me, I do not believe in helping anybody that does not want to be helped. So you cannot get me to force myself to help kids that don't want to be helped. I like when kids show that they are in a space to want more for themselves. So those are the kids that I click and I bond with a little bit more. There's a lot of kids that's angry and I'll offer advice to them like, why are you angry? What's bothering you? What's the root cause of it? If we can get down to the bottom of why you always act out when someone says something as simple as this to you, maybe we can change the whole cycle. I'll say something like that, but I'm just mad because I want to fight. When they're at that point, there's no reason to say anything to them. Just keep them calm. I try to talk to them in the calm voice, but it doesn't really work too often.
Yeah, I know
my kids. They're a little rough around the edges, but I thoroughly believe in having the transparency of the world is not going to cater to your emotions. So if you come to me angry, you need to calm down before you continue talking to me. I'm not going to deal with you in that way. If you come to me with a bad attitude, like you just want to fight, I'm going to meet you with that's not how we work around here. And if you're going to get mad because I'm meeting you in that way, you're going to have to take that attitude over there. I always remind them that your attitude with me or anybody else around here is your problem to deal with. That's not mine, and that's not anybody else's. So if you have attitude, you're going to have to take your attitude to your own corner and deal with that. And when you're ready to talk, when you're ready to have a good conversation, I'm right here. I'll be here. Whoever you have an issue with, we can talk about it together. Me, you, and that person. But as long as you're angry and you're taking that attitude out, or you're trying to take it out on us, we're not going to engage in that. So I try to give them a little bit of that tough love and show them that, just because you have an attitude, it's okay. You're allowed to express your emotions, but it is not okay to take it out on other people. And we will not engage in that type of behavior. I feel like that's helpful. It's helpful in the long run. It's not quite helpful in the time being because they can't see that far into the future. But it's going to help them, I know, over time.
Yeah, you got a question. She says, "What do you recommend? Can you give some examples? Growing up, my mom was a single mom and always was at work and didn't make time to teach us." Oh, so Clarissa's asking for what kind of advice are you asking for, Clarissa? I guess it's like breaking the cycle, or I think she was talking about because you saying that you was a mom that was like, I gotta be at work. I go to work, take care of you, and don't mess this up. And you really didn't put any effort into homework or whatever. But now, like, I guess the pandemic has taught you to make time for your kids.
Oh, absolutely. So I take now, so what I call fun and experience building is always teaching my kids something. So if we go to, let's say, an escape room to have fun, this is learning how to work together. So I'm teaching my kids, and in this moment, listen, she doesn't understand when you're yelling at her, talking to her about her other sister. She doesn't understand when you're yelling, get the thing at her. You have to explain exactly what the thing is and what she needs to do with it. So I take those moments as learning lessons for them to understand that you can't expect people to do things the way that you would do them. You have to find a way to teach somebody else how to do the thing that you want them to do, or to work together. You know what I mean? If it's a cooking lesson, I'm teaching them how to cook so that they can cook for themselves or cook for the family when I need them to cook. But I'll take that small lesson and make it a fun thing. Like, oh, we making cookies tonight. They're like, what? Cookies? I want cookies. All right. Well, you got to cream the sugar first. You know what I mean? I take those lessons in that time to teach them something that they're going to use for a long time. Like, even if we're going out to the grocery store, like, people out here are rude. So let me show you how to maneuver through the grocery store without getting in any fights.
Wow.
Everything turns into a lesson, and sometimes it's cool, sometimes they don't want to hear it, but they're going to learn something along the way.
I think that's cool because the name of the podcast, the title is Breaking the Cycle, and into the love cycle. I think that is cool that you said that you really wasn't taught, like you were really like talked at instead of talked to.
Yes. A lot of us was in this generation. We was taught that a kid should stay in a kid's place. You don't speak, you just listen, you don't talk back, you just do what you're told. And as we go into, this new millennial of kids, and they're way different, and they don't believe in those same values, like they don't take those same things, and they're going to say whatever they want. I feel like we have to adjust the way that we teach them so that they still learn values, traditional values, but they also know how to put a twist on it so they're successful in life. Those are the things that I value. And I just love making sure that my kids are able to thrive in today's society and that they are able to adapt in whatever the society is going to look like when they're older.
Wow. I like that. So before we wrap up, I want to tell all my brown girls, when I'm saying you got this, brown girls. Oh,
Yes.
I'm here for you, brown girls. And one time I was out and I met somebody that I saw on IG, and she was like, "Hey, brown girl," and that felt so endearing to me. And
Ooh,
that's what I needed to hear. It's like, "You got this, brown girls," or "Hey, brown girl."
yes.
Make me feel confident about my complexion, because I had a horrible self-esteem growing up about my complexion. And
Mhm.
if somebody could tell me, "You got this, brown girls," that will make it, somebody talk to me a different way, like you're breaking the cycle and teaching your kids and training them. Like, if we just communicate better, like, I guess because back in slavery we couldn't communicate, we just had to do what master say. And
Yes.
it's taken on down, like, now we really didn't have to go through that as millennials. Like, we was,
Right.
so it's just like, why did you have to say that to us? But
Right. I mean, believe it or not, I've had issues with my complexion as well. I was too light skinned for the white kids and too dark. I mean, too light for the black kids and too dark for the white kids. And I had no clue where I fit in. And they would tell me I look Spanish and I would look like this and that. And, I would cry to my mom, like, I just don't know what I am. I don't know where I fit in. And I teach my kids the same, like, you're beautiful no matter what you are. Down here, they call us red, and I be trying to tell my kids, like, it's not a light skin, dark skin thing. You are a person. You are beautiful no matter what color your skin is. If people treat you different because of your skin color, tell them you're black no matter what. Like, I'm black at the end of the day. So whether you see me as being a pretty light skinned girl or, a caramel girl, whatever, I'm black. I act black. People still treat me a certain way because I'm black. So I don't have any other privileges besides being a black person. And I thrive in that. I'm proud of that
I
everywhere
thrive
I
in that.
go.
I love it.
I love that.
I'm
I don't
rolling in
say
it.
brown girls, but when I see women, especially working out, or when I see women just living their best life, I'm putting my window. You better go ahead, girl. Yeah, my kids are like, oh my gosh, she's so embarrassing. You better go ahead, black girl. You're so beautiful. Shouting affirmations and just compliments out the window, because I love to see a beautiful woman just feeling herself and doing her thing, just being in her best self. It makes me happy. It makes me smile on the inside, and giving out compliments. It does something for me, and I love the way I see a woman smile when I give her a compliment. It just makes my day.
Yeah, that's because we don't get that a lot. Like, we get, "I want to fight her. That B thinks she better than me, and she not." And it's like, wait, nobody thought that. You the only person that thought that.
Absolutely. You
So, like,
thought that. I mean, I don't think that, but at the end of the day, we can work together so you can think that you're all that too.
oh, we
That
can work together. I love that. It's like,
that's what I say. Like, well, if you thought that I was all that, I thank you, because I don't think that, but I can help you think that way too.
that's a good comeback.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. Because I don't really like to subscribe to those conversations like, oh, you think you know what I think?
Right.
Tell
Like,
me how you know that.
no, that's not what I was thinking. That wasn't what I was thinking at all.
Please show me how do you read minds? Is it a skill that I can gain? Like, all right. Well, let's go back to the beginning. Hi, I'm Coach Self, and I
Right.
think I'm a regular person. What do you think you are?
Right. One of my close friends, and it's crazy how women, we see things and males see things totally different. I have a really good close male friend, and he was like, "Leslie, you worried about something that hasn't even happened. That didn't happen."
Mm,
And I was just like, "You're right." I was like, because I do vending events. I sell my shea butter, and I do different vending events. And certain events I don't want to go to. I was like, "What if the people there, they think I'm this and they think I'm that?" And he said, "You worried about something that didn't even happen." I was
oh
like, "You're right.
wow.
It didn't happen." But I'm
Yep,
thinking
he's
this
absolutely
audience
right.
that think this. This is like, what do you do? That didn't happen. But it's funny how women, we let our emotions take control
They
of
rule us sometimes.
creating stuff
Yeah.
that didn't even happen. Like, "You ate my piece of chicken and you disrespected me. You think you can eat my piece of chicken?" And it's just like,
You gotta fight it with say my gratitude practice teaches me to fight those negative, like, thoughts, those negative just intrusive thoughts that come into your mind with positive ones,
Thoughts.
or thoughts of gratitude. And that has changed the way I think 150%. You know what? Instead of getting mad that somebody's like staring at me, like, why is she always staring over here? She, da-da-da-da, as I usually would, it's like, oh, maybe she liked my hair today. Like, oh, maybe I did that with this outfit. She looking over here. She liked that. I'm about to ask her, you like my shirt? Like, I literally, I go through those thoughts in my mind as opposed to going directly to the negative route, because my mind is now trained to think like, oh, I must have did it today, Right. If she's looking, it's got to be for a reason. Like, it's got to be.
Yes. Clarissa said, yes, brown girls, I love it. Thank you. Thank you. When I'm in the store, like I could be at Ross and somebody will be like, you like my dress? Or you like this dress? And I'll be like, I would tell my therapist, why are people always talking to me in the store? And she was like, maybe because you're approachable.
Yes.
And I was like, I don't want to be approachable. What, she trying to pick on me? Like, she just asked you, but it's like, you like, why are you staring at me? Why, out of all the people in the store, why are you asking me, do I like this dress? Because I get that every time I go to the store, like people asking me questions, and I was so offended. But why not take it in,
embrace it?
Yeah, embrace it. Like, embrace it for something good and positive for what it is.
Yeah, you got to reframe that mindset. That's what I work with. If you want to work with me, I can help you reframe that mindset and turn it more positive, because people in the store, I'm one of those people. I'm going to talk to you in the store. I get that from my dad. I remember being super embarrassed when I was a kid that he would just like, he would find anything. If we're in a grocery store line and somebody bought gum, he was like, oh, you're going to need that. Ha, 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 ha. And I'm like, why is he messing with these people? He's so annoying. But that is me now. Like, if somebody is getting like shea butter or something, I'm like, yes, I love that shea butter. That girl, it worked miracles for these elbows. You see these girls? I'm like, yes, I love it. I use it on my knees, and I'm striking up conversations just like that. And I could have stood there and said nothing. I could have, but I've met so many people networking and just being myself. One of my good friends here, Ray, is a male. I literally met him when I was just like at work. I was delivering packages and it's like 3:00 in the morning and I'm just singing and being myself. I got my headphones on. He was like, check you out. This is the right motivation for the morning. Right. I need to start my morning like this. And I was like, hey, my name is, you know what I mean? Just from being myself, being my bubbly self, being inquisitive and like, oh, what they got in their shopping cart? Where you get that from? I've connected with so many people, and I didn't even talk about how I just upped and moved here without knowing anything or having any connections here. I literally have a whole connection here in Tampa just off of being me. And
oh, wow.
I can't say that anybody else has connected me with anybody. I have literally just been myself, came down here and been like the best version of myself, and just the connections that's come along the way, the people I've met, good, bad, or indifferent. The bad ones always shake off. I feel like my vibrations are so high that the negative can't hold on. So when I'm out here, only high vibrational people come around me. They want to be in my atmosphere, and we mix, we mingle, and we network. And next thing you know, I'm at a networking event that costs like $200 a ticket, and I got in here for free just because I met the owner or something like that.
Wow, that's beautiful.
Things like that happen to me all the time, and I'm so grateful. Every connection, every opportunity.
That's great. Clarissa says, that's what I do. I worry about what people think of me before I even get the chance to get to know them. Yeah. That is something that I'm working on, negative thinking. Yeah, we have to change that negative mindset to a positive mindset. So like what Shakira was saying, like, oh, well, maybe she liked is she staring maybe because she liked my hair.
Yeah.
Like, a negative thought into a positive thought, like something good, or is this the opportunity for me to say something about the Bible, or is something positive for me to say about them, or give them a compliment, like, hey, right. I like your jacket, or find something nice about them to give them a compliment on it.
Absolutely.
You know, we
That's
have
exactly what I teach my clients, just to challenge those negative mindsets or them negative thoughts and maybe go to war with them. Honestly, that's what I be telling them. Go to war with those negative thoughts.
Oh,
Take
wow.
the negative and pair it with a positive, and there is no way that you can't have, you are just going to eliminate the negative thoughts. But if you pair it with a positive or just fight it back with a positive, positivity wins. So your mind will start be framing to be positive.
Yeah, that's good. So is anything that you want to tell everybody that's coming up? What what you have working on, what you work on, your mentorship, your workshops, all of that good stuff.
I'm super excited. I have it's going to be an online course, do it yourself, that you can do at your own pace, about how to thrive as a single woman and its strategies for building confidence and resilience. And this is for women who have maybe gone through a bad breakup, has just been single for a while, that doesn't really dive into their self-care like that. This is all about getting to know yourself, diving into things that can make you more confident, more resilient, just so you have this amazing being after taking the course to present to the world, and new opportunities come just because you have done the work on yourself. So I'm so excited about this course. I've been working on it for some time, and I'm just really excited to have people come in and try it out and give me the feedback that I know they're going to get from it, because I've done everything in this program I've done for myself. I've seen so much success. I work with clients I've seen success. So I know that this is going to be successful, and I just can't wait to put it out there.
Yes, I'm excited for you. You got this, Brown Girls. If nobody told you that, you got this.
Thank you.
It's going to be awesome.
Thank you. Thank you.
You're welcome. So, is anybody with Clarissa, you have any more questions you want to throw in the chat? But thank you for joining me tonight. I enjoyed the cycle conversation, the breaking the cycle conversation into love, and how you can just communicate, talk. Like, that's really simple. Like,
be open, transparent.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yes.
Thank you for interviewing me and getting me to talk. Talking is one of the things that I do best, but I'm quite nervous to do it on a platform like this. So I appreciate you getting me out my shell.
You're welcome. You did great. Thank you for joining me. I really appreciate it.
Thank you. You have a great one.
You too. All right. Hold on 1 second.